Hello, so my name is Parker Rickensrud, and this is the reflection interview video for PRT 266. I interviewed Jen Brunson, who's the manager of partnership services with Learfield Communications, and they're directly tied to the NC State University athletics. And I interviewed her on March 25th of 2019, and she lived within 14 miles, but it was most convenient to talk on the phone with her based on her travel schedule and work schedule. And so I had previously planned up around 15 questions to ask her, and the interview itself lasted just around 13 minutes. And overall, I learned a ton from her. And so I'm just going to kind of give you an idea of what we talked about and then kind of summarize it all at the end. So part of the thing she said, as I said, was like on a daily basis. And she said it was very hectic and that there's always things going on, and that they're just setting up events all the time, and just they got to really keep track of the partnerships that they're with, and more things of that such. And one of the things that I asked her is, when did you know this is something that you wanted to do? Well, although she is the current manager of the partnerships for Learfield, one of the main things she hit on was her internship she had with a minor league baseball team in her past when she was doing internships. And she said that the thing that made when she knew that this is what she wanted to do was when the gates opened to the ballpark and she saw all the smiles of all the people's faces coming in, and that's the thing that really energized what she wanted to do. And I asked her I asked her what her favorite thing to do about her job was, and she kind of added on to the previous questions that she loved the smiles, and she just loves the whole sports world. It's something that she had a passion was when she was younger, and it's something that she wanted to pursue her career in, which is exactly what she did. And I asked for my own benefit, because I want to know what kind of skills I need to continue to pursue in the sports world, and she said that I needed to be a yes man, and that it's not good to say no in a lot of circumstances, because you're always looking for your opportunities, you're always trying to go higher, and when you don't agree with something, it's going to prevent you from going higher. And another question I asked, I said, what activities did you pursue in college that related to your career field, so I could get a chance to see what I needed to do as well. And part of the things she added onto the internships, and then she also did some activities relating to the NC State athletics, which is what I'm hoping to do as I applied for a property assistant with Learfield Communications last week. And followed up with I asked her if she could talk a little bit what she did specifically about her profession, and that's when she kind of reiterated what she did. She mainly does event planning, works with the different sponsors that are tied to certain sports, and just how they set those things up. And I said, what made you pursue this career? And so she kind of went to her childhood, and she kind of talked about how she's just always been a big sports fan, and how that's something that's pushed her towards her passion. That's something that I told her that I could relate to, because ever since I was little, I remember watching games with my dad and my family, just going crazy at those events. And it was kind of a joke that neither of us really had the talent to be an athlete, so why not just enjoy the atmosphere that we both grew up watching. And so I asked her, because based on one thing that I've started to learn as being at NC State is you really do need a lot of connections to move up in the scale to become the job, or to get into the job that you want. That's in anything, if it's minor league or professional ranks. And so she definitely agreed with me. She told me that I should definitely try, and even if it's not a place that I'm trying to get a job for, just to have those connections and resources that I can go back and ask for questions and advice when applying for any job, so I can help go in the right direction. And so I said, what does it take to get to a job in sports, was my next question, because I did kind of realize that it does seem a lot. After at the house, I talked to Amanda Dinkle, who worked with the Falcons, and I heard her story. There's a lot of grind when it comes to it, and she definitely reiterated all that when I talked to Jen. She said that there's nonstop. You're going to miss some of the holidays. You're going to miss some of the family trips, but at the end of all, it's how much you want it, and by you putting in the time and the grind for it, you'll definitely be able to succeed. And that's usually the difference between a lot of people, is just whether or not you're able to put that time aside to get to where you want to be. And she was telling me how she remembered missing some of those holidays or family events, but it was all for the greater good in terms of pursuing her career. And so I followed up the next question. I said, was there ever a moment when you questioned your pursuit of a sports job? And she immediately said, definitely. And so she explained to me a little bit about one of the times when she was at her minor league internship. Is she was expecting to go into a thing of sports, but what they did was they handed her a broom and they said, go clean the bathrooms. And she said that she was extremely frustrated. It was actually pretty funny. But that's exactly what she did. She went and she cleaned the bathrooms, and as she progressed through the internship, she started gaining more valuable knowledge. But she reiterated how it's all about finding your start within the sports world. And so after that, I said, was there ever a moment when you felt that you had truly conquered your goal of getting into the job of sport? And she definitely did say that she loves where she's at right now, but there's a lot more that she'd want to take away or move up into. And that's something that I kind of advanced the question and said, when you say what you just said, do you kind of mean that you want to get into the professional? Because I told her, as I've been growing up, my dream job is to work for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I said, that's probably what my goal would be. And she said yes, that she would definitely love to get into the professional ranks. Or what I got to learn from her is she said that her dream was actually to be on the NCAA voting committee. And then it was a joke because I kind of brought up the fact that we could have really used her for this year's NC State voting, considering that NC State basketball team did not get in the NCAA tournament, although they rightfully should have. And my next question was kind of reiterated that. I said, what are your goals as you continue to move through a career? And she reiterated the same things. And then so I thanked her a lot for the time that she gave me, and I said, is there any advice that she could give me? Or is there any advice that she could deliver to me that I could use to move on through my career in sport? And once again, she said about being a yes man, always go for my opportunities and just be on the grind and just keep working and keep applying for internships and jobs that relate to sport. And at the end of it all, if I just show my own effort and my own appliance of time to these careers, that I too will be successful. And it was really awesome. So overall, the interview was just fantastic. I got to learn a lot of new information, and I got to learn a lot more in depth about being in a one-on-one conversation that the House Summit did give me, but this gave me a more one-on-one conversation, I guess. And so it was also very neat because she asked me to stay in touch, and she said that I could come in and shadow her job for about 1 or 2 days, just whenever I could, and just to let her know. And it was very cool to talk to her. And so overall, I'm just ecstatic by this assignment. I really appreciate you being able to push us to go reach out to these people. And so thank you very much. That's the end of my reflection interview. Have a good day.